It's been over 3 weeks now since Iran fired nearly 200 ballistic missiles at Israel, and Israel still hasn't retaliated. One of the reasons for that is now coming out. Someone in the US government leaked highly classified documents revealing some of Israel's plans for retaliating and attacking Iran. Guys, this is insane. We're going to break it all down for you here on today's show, so stay tuned. I'm Justin, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Following Iran's massive ballistic missile attack on Israel on October 1st, just over 3 weeks ago, the biggest ballistic missile attack in history, by the way, Israel vowed to retaliate and strike Iran. Unlike back in April, they vowed to retaliate and strike Iran very hard. But now it's been more than 3 weeks since the attack, and Israel's not yet struck Iran. And it's coming out that Israel was forced to delay their plans and even remake some of their plans due to a massive intelligence leak by none other than the US government. Guys, this is insane. So the source of the leak it's still unknown, not sure exactly who it was, but it's absolutely crazy. They're speculating, or they're most likely sure that it was somebody in the US government. Now, what was in these leaked documents? There were details on Israel's handling of air-launched ballistic missiles, mentions of covert drone activity. Specific airfields in Israel are even named. The documents also talk about extensive drills and rehearsals that Israel has conducted recently. There's also mention of Israel's nuclear weapons, which neither Israel nor the United States have ever officially confirmed that they actually exist. This is absolutely crazy because this is saying now officially that Israel has nuclear capabilities. The entire world pretty much knew that, or like everyone said, of course, Israel has nuclear capabilities, but it's never been officially confirmed by the United States or Israel. So now this leaked document confirms officially that Israel has nuclear capabilities. But according to the leaked document, it says that Israel was not planning on using their nuclear in the attack on Iran. According to the Times newspaper, Israel is worried that even though no potential targets were named in the leak, the details provided could help Iran predict certain patterns of attack. The report also said that Israel has developed an alternative plan, but they need to test it before proceeding with it. So these leaked documents most likely have delayed the strike on Iran, and that is probably the reason why Israel has not struck Iran already, which you would think by now, seeing as they vowed a very strong response after the attack on October 1st, they would have attacked Iran by now. Despite the delay in plans, Israel is still vowing a very strong response. Iran has been preparing. They stated that they would be ready to de-escalate if Israel limits its response, as it did last April. They're kind of scared, backing up now. Oh, we'll de-escalate if Israel limits its response, but Israel is saying, no, we're not backing down. We are going to strike hard on Iran. Yoav Gallant visited an airbase on Wednesday where he said that Israel's response would show the world that anyone who attacks the Jewish nation will, quote, pay a heavy price. He said, quote, after we strike in Iran, everyone will understand what you did in the preparation and training process. And he was talking to airmen there on the airbase. So these top secret documents, they first appeared on Telegram last Friday, October 18th, I believe by a channel called Middle East Spectator. After it was posted, it very quickly spread among pro-Iranian accounts. The FBI is now investigating this leak. CNN reported that, quote, the FBI and other investigators are working off the theory that the breach most likely came from a government insider and not from a cyber intrusion. According to an inside source, at least one of the leaked files appears to have been scanned from an officially printed briefing book, and the pool of people who printed these pages would be relatively small. So it seems like they would be able to figure out who exactly who leaked these documents. I want to point out, I'm quoting a lot of different sources and different people here because there's not a ton of details out. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't have a lot of hard facts at this point. So I'm quoting a lot of things. I'm sure more details will be coming out in the coming days. So stay tuned here at the Israel Guys for the facts of what happened with this leaked document, and we'll see. Maybe we'll even find out exactly who it was who leaked these documents. We're going to get into more of that in just 1 second. But first, on October 7th, 2023, Israel faced its darkest day since the Holocaust. Terror rained down from the skies, infiltrating peaceful communities, and ordinary people were thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Into the Fire is the gripping account of this unimaginable crisis. It takes you from the blood-soaked grounds of the Nova Music Festival to the besieged kibbutzim of southern Israel and deep into the unwavering faith of average Israelis, people who found themselves on the front lines of heroism. You'll meet the first responders who ran into danger without hesitation, the survivors who embodied unimaginable resilience, and the everyday citizens who became heroes in the face of terror. This book is more than a retelling of events, and it's an exploration of the human spirit's incredible capacity for courage, compassion, and selflessness. And it challenges you. What would you do if you were faced with such darkness? And how can we cultivate bravery and kindness into our daily lives? Order Into the Fire today and uncover the stories of those who chose to be the light in the face of pure evil. Just click the link in the description below. Now, there are a lot of suspicions, and for good reason, that Ariane Tabatabai, I'm not sure exactly how to say that, but she's an Iranian woman who works in the Defense Department, the U.S. Defense Department. There's a lot of suspicion that she had a hand in this leak. And I say good reason because, for one, she has argued in the past that Iran is, quote, too powerful to contain. And she's also urged Washington to align with the Islamist regime and break its ties with Israel and its Arab Gulf allies, which is absolutely incredibly stupid. And I don't know why on earth she is in the U.S. Defense Department. But it gets worse. Last year, some members of Congress wrote to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin asking for her to be fired because files showed she had been in touch with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. After a pathetic investigation, the Pentagon announced that Dr. Tabatabai was thoroughly and properly vetted, and she retained her top secret security clearance. So it's pretty obvious that she is a friend of Iran. So there's very good reason for suspecting her in this leak. Major General Pat Ryder, the Pentagon press secretary, on Tuesday denied a Sky News report that Tabatabai is being investigated for leaking the intelligence to Iranian sources. He said this, quote, "It's important to let the investigation run its course. To my knowledge, this official is not a subject of interest, and the department remains fully committed to supporting the investigation." Donald Trump responded to this leak, this intelligence leak. He said this during a campaign event in Florida. He said, quote, "They leaked all the information about the way that Israel's going to fight and how they're going to fight and where they're going to go. And somebody who did that. Can you imagine somebody doing that? That's the enemy. I guess that maybe is the enemy from within, as I talked about." Senator Marco Rubio said that the leak was, quote, "both a federal crime to leak that information, and it's also an act of treason. It's aiding an enemy of the United States, a government in Iran that basically says death to America, death to Israel every week." And Senator Marco Rubio is absolutely right. There needs to be serious accountability here and a very thorough investigation because this is an act of treason. Whoever it was, whether it was this Iranian person in the Defense Department or whether it was someone else inside the government, there needs to be a full investigation and full accountability. Meanwhile, Israel's war with Lebanon has been continuing full force. Israel's continued to pound Hezbollah terror sites in southern Lebanon. They've also captured tons of munitions, Hezbollah trucks, stuff like that. Also a lot of money from Hezbollah, a lot of gold I saw in one report. Hezbollah has continued to fire hundreds of rockets into Israel, into northern Israel. They've also sent in drones, one of which somehow evaded Israeli detection and directly hit Netanyahu's home in Caesarea, which is absolutely wild how on earth it evaded Israeli detection and hit his house. Thankfully, Netanyahu and his wife were away at the time, and they were totally fine. Hezbollah did claim full responsibility for this assassination attempt, and thank God that Netanyahu was safe and that he was not hurt in this assassination attempt. The US State Department just made a statement. And I think this is just great because it seems they have all the answers and they know exactly how to end the war with Hezbollah. Maybe they should have told Israel that a long time ago. I don't know, just how to end the war. So Vedant Patel, the principal deputy U.S. State Department spokesman, said at a press briefing on Tuesday, quote, "I know there's been a lot of interest in 1701 over the past couple of days and perhaps a little bit of misunderstanding in how or misinterpretation in how it's being discussed. So let me just be unequivocally clear. What we want is to see is the effective implementation of 1701. We think that it is vital and it can help create the conditions that will ultimately allow civilians on both sides of the blue line to return home." And when he says 1701, he is meaning the UN resolution 1701, which is 18 years old and which basically calls for Hezbollah to disarm, leave southern Lebanon, and for the Lebanese army and the UN interim force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, to secure the area, which we know is an absolutely incredible force who has done amazing things to keep the peace between Israel. They're pushing Hezbollah out of southern Lebanon, and we don't know what's going to happen after that, but they've been very strong, and that is pretty much what they're doing with their military offensive. Let's hope and pray that Israel continues to be strong, what they've been doing in Lebanon and Gaza, also in Gaza, and that they would not cave into international pressure. Guys, in conclusion, Israel's still at war. They need our prayers. They need our support to achieve total victory, to be strong, to not cave into international pressure, to do what they need to do to strike Iran very hard, which I hope they will, and ultimately, as I said, to achieve total victory. Guys, don't forget to check out Into the Fire book. Just click the link in the description below to buy your copy today. As always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening here in Israel. We'll be back soon here at the Israel Guys. Catch you in the next one.